Okay, so yesterday we were talking about the planning topic, right? Let me share my screen. So I'll just give a quick overview. We talked about planning, then purpose, then we talked about various areas. We use planning in safety, like preparation of policies, safety committee and its objectives and agenda, and targets, hazards or risk assessments and investigations, okay, and safety inspections and standards. And we also talked about the nature of planning. It is basically goal oriented or intellectual. uh, it is in a conscious activity. It should be flexible. It should not so rigid. It should be flexible and dynamic whenever it is required. We definitely uh, do a change in plan. Then we also talked about the factors and limitations like accuracy or time consumption and rigidity. If the plan is it is so rigid, so there is no option of flexibility or change, or the cost, the amount of time, or the people you involve in planning. Okay, then attitudes of management, etc. Are the some of the limitations. Then we talked about so the steps of planning or the procedure of the planning, where the planning starts with either it starts with a problem or a opportunity. Always we make plans for only for problems. Sometimes or most of the times we also make plans for the goals or objectives, right? Then we talked about the range of planning with respect to time, short term, mid term, and long term. Short term, basically 0 to 1 year, and mid term from 1 year to 5 years, and long term or strategic plannings, which are from 5 years, 10 years, 50 years, and more. Then, when it also talked about variety of plans, so it's based on the objective and based on time and single use or repeated use plans. Then we started discussing about the strategic planning. So we covered all this. So when we talk about nature of strategic planning and also called as long-term plans, it should be a long-term planning or fight future external forces. So majorly, we used to have these long-term plans, especially to act on the long-term related issues or opportunities. Okay, and it is an action oriented, deal with basic questions, or it is a function of the top management. Yes, so whenever we do a planning, so definitely the top management is the utmost people, or they are the key people when preparing any plans. Okay, then focus on energies or resources and also analysis of the environment. Okay, now we'll see the essentials of good strategic plans. I mean, how you will evaluation or how you will evaluate the strategic plans. So some of the factors are internal consistency. So we should have proper consistency with the existing activities and also consistency with the environment. So when you talk with the consistency with the environment, we can take construction projects as an example. When you talk about consistency with environment, so especially in the rainy seasons where the construction activities slow downs, if you are at the footing stage or if you're doing any excavation, etc., so where it will badly disturbs the progress. So if your plan is chance of affecting with the environmental conditions, you should also consider the environmental factors and appropriate time origins. So you definitely fix the time for the each activity or sub activity or sub plans, and also they should be realistic. So it is not that you will to impress your manager or to impress the management, you will put unrealistic timelines. In the sense, generally, if if at all you want to complete a activity, it takes 15 days, but you only planned in 10 days. So the management says, okay, very good, appreciated. But when it comes to the practicality, you will not able to complete within 10 days. So you should give the timelines as realistic, and also the plans also should be realistic. So whatever the suggestions, not about only plans, hence a safety officer role is an advisory role in the organization. Whatever the suggestions, guidance you are giving, all those guidances, suggestions, the corrective actions or preventive actions, whatever you are suggesting, those should be realistic or practically implementable. Then acceptable degree of risk. So whatever you are giving a plan, even though there is a risk, it should be at a acceptable level. Like we have in a risk matrix as an example, low, medium, and high. So if your risk priority number, we used to call this, when you say risk priority number, risk is equal to probability into severity. So how you will calculate? Probability means or probability or occurrence, then severity or impact. Either vice versa, we use these words. And talk about probability, how frequently the incident can happen and what will be the impact of that incident or accident. That is risk. When the risk priority number 1 into 3, it is 3, I feel that, okay, it is low risk. So I need not to worry about. Same way, if you are planning something, any risk comes in, so the risk should in such a way that it can be easily acceptable. And feasibility is nothing but how you can able to implement it, or the possibility of the chances, or how you can execute it. Okay. These are the some of the essentials while we are evaluating the long-term plans. Now we'll see why the need of strategic planning. So when I talk about need, as we know, the strategic planning or long-term plan, also called as long-term plans, basically we do for long terms like 5 years, 10 years, and 15 years. So when I talk about the need of it, basically it helps in facing the environmental and future challenges. For example, if you're already in industry or you're uh, well familiar with the news. So recently, again, I mean, our central government has decided that so by 2070, India is going to be a net zero country. When you say net zero, it is talking about the greenhouse gas emissions like scope 1 and 2. So that is the future. So that is a long-term goal or the challenges. Okay. For organization, most of the organization now, this GHG greenhouse gases is the one of the challenge. Like because this greenhouse gases, we are emitting more to the atmosphere. The atmosphere gets hotter and hotter. So there is a so much of the climate switch or the seasonal shift is happening. Rains are happening in the summers and winters. Winter is extending or the winter is shortened, or we have more summer, like that, or some sides of country will have excessive rainfall. In other side of the country there is a serious drought, mean no rainfall at all. So such a kind of seasonal shifts happen because of this, the climate change. So provides direction. So definitely when you're having a strategic planning, definitely it gives a direction of your business. For example, a company is planning to expand their production lines, or they plan to introduce two more products into the market in next 10 years. Now you'll make a plan for next 10 years. What are the activities are supposed to be undertaken to release a product in next 10 years? It gives definitely a direction where we have to buy, what kind of technology is required, how much manpower is required, what is the infrastructure, what is the equipment cost, okay, what is the construction cost, land cost, etc., and how we are going to execute, what is the target customers for this product, and who is the existing players in the market. Various things we talk about in that planning. Then improved functioning, definitely yes. If you have a plan, definitely your activities will improve. So without a plan, we can't do anything. So if you have a plan, definitely your activities or your plan of actions definitely improve. Exploiting favorable opportunities. This is also one where you identify and get all the favorable opportunities, like the suitable opportunities for us if you have a strategic plan. For example, exploiting favorable opportunities. So when you have a plan, so you will think of, okay, where and all I can operate, or where and all I can launch my products. So which are the countries there is no availability of such a product, so where I can identify and I can launch my products there, so that I can get a maximum margin, as an example. Then minimization of chance of mistakes or losses. If you have a plan, definitely you will identify the risk, right? You will also look for the risk reduction, or you try to minimize the risk as low as possible, so we can maximum try to avoid or minimize the chance of losses, or we can also call as wastage. Effective efficient utilization of resources like time, money, talent, and equipment. Okay, this is also one thing we can, if we have a plan, we can effectively utilize our time, talent, and also equipment. So if you are not having planning, so it is not possibility to utilize effectively. For example, you don't have production plan itself. If I take as an example as production planning, or if you are not having any safety plan in place or the training plan in place, so you have everything. You have safety officers, you have a training material, okay, you have a projector, you have everything, but you not planned it well, so you will not able to utilize this resources, right? Then facilitates coordination control. Definitely yes. When you are planning, so you will identify who are the list of people or list of stakeholders involved in this process. Definitely it makes or facilitates the coordination and control between the departments as well as functions. Then competitive strength, definitely yes. So when you say competitive strength, it is about your competitors and ourselves. Now we'll see the process of this strategic planning. One is, first of all, we have to decide the mission and long-term objectives. That is the primary function, or the first step of a strategic planning. So we decide a mission or vision, or the long range objectives. Either you are planning to implement an emergency equipment, or you are planning to integrate all your safety systems with the process, or you are planning to build emergency control centers, or you are planning to bring CCTV footage, or you are planning to bring artificial intelligence to capture the unsafe actions. Okay, PPA non-compliance, right? These are the few examples of long-term objectives. There may be few more also. Then we'll collect and analyze the relevant information. So once you fix your objectives, then we'll gather the relevant information with respect to the each objectives. Just a second, I got a question. Okay. Sorry. Yes, I missed you actually. So strategic planning ఏంటంటే ఇవి వచ్చేసి మనము లాంగ్ టర్మ్ ప్లానింగ్ గురించి మాట్లాడుకుంటాము. సో ఇందులో బేసిక్ ఏంటంటే ఎప్పుడైతే మనము ఈ స్ట్రాటజిక్ ప్లానింగ్ ఎందుకు అంటే ఎన్విరాన్మెంటల్ లేదంటే ఫ్యూచర్ ఛాలెంజెస్ అంటే ముందుగా వచ్చే ఛాలెంజెస్ అంటే ఫ్యూచర్ లో వచ్చే ఛాలెంజెస్ గురించి దాంతో పాటుగా ఈ స్ట్రాటజిక్ ప్లానింగ్ అనేది మనకు ఒక డైరెక్షన్ ఇస్తూ ఉంటాయి. దాంతో పాటుగా ఇది ఏదైనా ఒక ప్లాన్ ఉన్నప్పుడు ఏంటంటే మనం చేసే పనులు అనేవి ప్రాపర్గా వెళ్తుంటాయి. ఓకే, ఇట్ విల్ బి ఇంప్రూవ్. దాంతో పాటుగా మార్కెట్లో ఉన్న ఆపర్చునిటీస్ అంటే మనము ఒక ప్రోడక్ట్ని లాంచ్ చేయాలనుకుంటే యాజ్ అన్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఎక్కడెక్కడ లాంచ్ చేయొచ్చు, మార్కెట్లో ఉన్న అవకాశాలను మనము ఐడెంటిఫై చేయొచ్చు. దాంతో పాటుగా రిస్క్ని కంట్రోల్ చేయొచ్చు. సో వీ కెన్ మినిమైజ్ ద రిస్క్. మన దగ్గర ప్లాన్ ఉంది అంటే అందులో మిస్టేక్స్ జరిగేదానికి ఛాన్స్ ఎక్కడ ఉంటుంది, సో ఎక్కడ మనము తప్పు చేసేదానికి ఛాన్స్ ఉంటుంది, ఎక్కడ మనకి వేస్టేజ్ ఉండేదానికి ఛాన్స్ ఉంటుంది తెలుస్తుంది. సో ఈ ప్లానింగ్ వల్ల మనము వేస్ట్ని మినిమైజ్ చేయొచ్చు, లాసెస్ని మినిమైజ్ చేయొచ్చు. తర్వాత ఎఫెక్టివ్ యూటిలైజేషన్ ఆఫ్ రిసోర్సెస్. సో ఎఫెక్టివ్ యూటిలైజేషన్ ఆఫ్ రిసోర్సెస్ అంటే ఏంటంటే మన దగ్గర ఉన్న రిసోర్సెస్ని మనము ఎలా యూటిలైజ్ చేసుకోవాలో ఈ ప్లానింగ్ ద్వారా మనము ప్రాపర్గా యూటిలైజ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. లైక్ టైం అవ్వచ్చు, మనీ కానీ, టాలెంట్ అంటే మ్యాన్ పవర్ కానీ, ఎక్విప్మెంట్ కానీ మనం ప్రాపర్గా యూటిలైజ్ చేసుకోవచ్చు. దెన్ ఫెసిలిటేట్ కోఆర్డినేషన్. సో ఎప్పుడైతే మనకి ప్లానింగ్ అనేది ఉంటుందో మనము ప్రాపర్గా కోఆర్డినేషన్ అనేది ఉంటుంది. సో ఎవరైతే ఇన్వాల్వ్ అవుతారో ఈ ప్లానింగ్లో, డిపార్ట్మెంట్లో కానీ, లేదంటే ప్రొడక్షన్ కానీ, క్వాలిటీ వాళ్ళు కానీ, సేఫ్టీ వాళ్ళు కానీ, హెచ్ఆర్ వాళ్ళు కానీ మనకి తెలుస్తుంది. సో నంబర్ ఆఫ్ పీపుల్ ఇన్వాల్వ్డ్, ఎవరైతే ఇన్వాల్వ్ అయ్యారో, ఈవెన్ సమ్టైమ్స్ గవర్నమెంట్ అఫీషియల్స్ ఆల్సో విల్ బి పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ ది ప్లాన్, ఆర్ సమ్టైమ్స్ ద ఎక్స్టర్నల్ బాడీ ఆర్ కస్టమర్స్. వన్ సెకండ్ గైస్. Okay. So it will facilitate and control. Okay. Then competitive strength. Competitive strength అంటే మార్కెట్లో ఉన్న వాళ్ళకి అంటే మనకు ఒక ఎక్స్ట్రా అడ్వాంటేజెస్ అనేది ఉంటాయి. Okay. Fine. Then we talk about process or steps of strategic planning. సో ఎక్కడి నుంచి మనం దీన్ని స్టార్ట్ చేస్తాం. సో డిసైడ్ మిషన్ అండ్ లాంగ్ టర్మ్ ఆబ్జెక్టివ్స్. ఫస్ట్ ఏంటంటే మనకి లాంగ్ టర్మ్ ఆబ్జెక్టివ్స్ ఏంటి అన్న దాని గురించి రాసుకుంటాము. దెన్ కలెక్ట్ అండ్ అనలైజ్ ది రెలవెంట్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్. సో హియర్ వి ఐడెంటిఫై అండ్ కలెక్ట్ ఆల్ ది రెలవెంట్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ విత్ రెస్పెక్ట్ టు యువర్ ఆబ్జెక్టివ్స్. ఓకే, మీరు ఒక ఆబ్జెక్టివ్ అనుకున్న తర్వాత దానికి సంబంధించిన డేటానంతా కూడా మనం కలెక్ట్ చేసుకుని అనలైజ్ చేస్తాం. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ నేను ఆర్టిఫిషియల్ ఇంటెలిజెన్స్ పెట్టాలనుకుంటున్నాను. సో నా కంపెనీలో అన్సేఫ్ యాక్షన్స్ ని ఐడెంటిఫై చేయడానికి. సో ఇట్ ఈస్ ఎ ప్రీ డిఫైన్డ్ ప్రోగ్రామింగ్. సో వాట్ ఆర్ ది వేరియస్ రిసోర్సెస్ ఆర్ అవైలబుల్ టు అండర్స్టాండ్ దిస్ టెక్నాలజీ. సో వీ లుక్ ఫర్ విచ్ ఆర్ ద కంపెనీస్ ఆల్రెడీ ఇంప్లిమెంటెడ్ ఇన్ అండ్ అరౌండ్ అవర్ ఆర్గనైజేషన్, how it is functioning. So who are the suppliers of this technology? So like that ఏంటంటే ఎవరెవరు ఈ టెక్నాలజీని సప్లై చేస్తున్నారు, చుట్టుపక్కల ఉన్న కంపెనీల్లో ఎవరన్నా ఈ టెక్నాలజీని ఇంప్లిమెంట్ చేశారా, ఒకవేళ ఇంప్లిమెంట్ చేస్తుంటే ఆ టెక్నాలజీ యొక్క ఫంక్షనాలిటీ ఎలా ఉంది. సో హౌ ది ఫంక్షనాలిటీ ఆఫ్ ది సిస్టమ్ అంటే అది ఎలా పనిచేస్తుంది. So is it a value for money or not? ఇవన్నీ కూడాను అనలైజ్ చేస్తాం. Then assess environmental and risk factors. So if at all your project is somehow linked with environmental factors, you look for what kind of issues can comes in, like high temperatures or heavy winds or heavy rains or negative temperatures like minus temperatures. It depends on where is your company is situated or located. It is not all the environmental factors are not applicable for all the locations, right? సో మనం తీసుకున్న ఆబ్జెక్టివ్ని ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేయడానికి లేదా ఇంప్లిమెంట్ చేయడానికి వాతావరణ పరిస్థితులు ఏమన్నా రిస్క్ని క్రియేట్ చేయొచ్చు, అంటే వాతావరణ పరిస్థితులు మనల్ని ఏమన్నా ఇబ్బంది పెట్టచ్చు. సో దాని గురించి కూడా మనము అసెస్ చేస్తాం. ది కండక్ట్ ది రిసోర్స్ ఆడిట్ లైక్ ఎ సెల్ఫ్ అప్రైజల్. When you talk about resource audit, so when you say resources, it is an overall term, right? It is a wide term where you can put in everything. Like I can start from a land where you have to do something. Then we talk about once the land is available, we talk about infrastructure. So where what kind of infrastructure we look for, either a structural or a concrete building. Then we talk about the resources like a manpower, so who build these buildings. Then we talk about the technology, what kind of technology you are going to implement in that process, and also equipments available. So if your plan is to build a new production line, what kind of equipments are required and where we can source it. Then you talk about skilled manpower, that is also one of the resource. When talk about resource, manpower is the one of the resource where within the manpower you may look for different skill set of people, like high skill or semi skill. Okay, you talk about daily labor, casual labor, etc. Then we also look for the transportation. So once you produce your goods, definitely you have to transport it, right? So where you will transport or how you will transport. Okay, that is also one kind of resources. Resource అంటే ఏంటంటే మన చుట్టూ ఉండే వనరులు ఏమున్నాయి, దాన్ని ఎలా యూజ్ చేసుకోవాలంటే సెల్ఫ్ అసెస్మెంట్. సో మ్యాన్ పవర్ దొరుకుతుందా లేదా, ల్యాండ్ దొరుకుతుందా లేదా, ల్యాండ్ అనేది అనుకూలంగా ఉందా లేదా, ఎటువంటి టెక్నాలజీస్ కావాలి, ఓకే, నా దగ్గర టెక్నాలజీ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ఉందా, R&D సెంటర్స్ ఉన్నాయా లేదా, ఓకే, హౌ ఐ కెన్ వెరిఫై మై క్వాలిటీ ఆఫ్ ది ప్రోడక్ట్. ఇవన్నీ కూడాను మనము రిసోర్సెస్లో చూస్తాం. థింక్ ఆఫ్ స్ట్రాటజిక్ ఆల్టర్నేటివ్స్. సో వెన్ యు సే స్ట్రాటజిక్ ఆల్టర్నేటివ్స్, సో యూ మేక్ ఏ ప్లాన్ and simultaneously you will have an alternative plans. In the case of plan A fails, so you should need a plan B. That is nothing but strategic alternative. మనము చుట్టూ ఉన్న వనరుల్ని మనం అసెస్ చేస్తాము, ఓకే, సెల్ఫ్ అసెస్మెంట్ చేసుకుంటాము. దాని తర్వాత ఆల్టర్నేటివ్స్ అంటే డిఫరెంట్ ప్లాన్స్ అనేవి క్రియేట్ చేసుకొని, ఒకవేళ ప్లాన్ ఏ ఫెయిల్ అయితే విల్ గో ఫర్ ప్లాన్ బి. ఓకే, దెన్ సెలెక్ట్ ది బెస్ట్ ఆల్టర్నేటివ్. సో ఒకసారి మనకి ఆల్టర్నేటివ్స్ మనము డ్రాఫ్ట్ చేసుకున్న తర్వాత, వన్స్ యూ హ్యావ్ క్రియేటెడ్ ది ఆల్టర్నేటివ్ ప్లాన్స్, దెన్ వీ చూస్ ది బెస్ట్ ఆల్టర్నేటివ్. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, ఐ హ్యావ్ ప్లాన్ 1, 2 and 3. సో అవుట్ ఆఫ్ 1, 2, 3, I feel plan 2 is the best choice. Okay, then implement and control it. So once you have selected the plan, then you will execute your plan. Okay, this is the process or strategic or steps for the strategic planning. Okay, first మనం ఆబ్జెక్టివ్స్ డిసైడ్ చేస్తాం, దెన్ రెలవెంట్ ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ ఏముందన్నది వెతుకుతాం, దాన్ని అనలైజ్ చేస్తాం, ట్రై టు అండర్స్టాండ్, ఐ మీన్ అర్థం చేసుకోవడానికి ట్రై చేస్తాం. దెన్ వీ అసెస్ ఫర్ ఎన్విరాన్మెంటల్ రిస్క్ ఫ్యాక్టర్స్. సో వాతావరణ సంబంధించిన రిస్క్ ఫ్యాక్టర్స్ ఏమైనా చూస్తాం. ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ అబౌట్ ఇన్ యువర్ ఏరియా, ఇట్ ఈస్ ఆల్సో అబౌట్ వేర్ యు ఆర్ బ్రింగింగ్ ద టెక్నాలజీ, రైట్? Sometimes your raw material comes from Australia or United States. So there where the raw material extraction is not possible due to a bad environment or bad weather conditions. Those factors also we have to consider. I'm just taking an example. Okay. Then you look for alternatives. అంటే రెండు మూడు ప్లాన్స్ క్రియేట్ చేసుకొని సో అవుట్ ఆఫ్ 2-3లో ఏది బెస్ట్ ప్లాన్ అనేది చూస్ చేసుకుంటాం. Then we will implement and control it. When I say control, so you will have a checkpoints. Okay, today where we are and tomorrow where we should be, and in case of any changes or difficulties, we will try to control. Or sometimes we may deviate the plan, so we try to control or we try to go with as per the plan. For example, we create a annual safety training plan. So what kinds of risk will be there? So we'll plan daily one training program in a month. Sorry, in a month we plan one training program where we expect the mass uh, gathering. So maybe in some of the months, like November month is the quality month, where we are not able to gather the people. That is the one risk factor. Maybe sometimes audits, it is also one risk factor. Sometimes any other issues comes in or any incident happen in the organization. In that month also, you are not able to conduct the training program. So we have to look for what kind of risks comes in. Because I'm taking production as an example where we can try to understand easily. Also, we can take safety also an example as I taken safety training. So why I'm giving production as an base examples, it will be easy to understand you people. Any questions on this? So we done with the planning topic. I just stop here. Meanwhile, I'll bring the other presentation. If you have any questions, you can unmute and ask, or else you can write in chat box also. Okay. The next topic is about the organizing. It is the second function of a management after planning. Okay. So organization. So basically, organization is defined as a structure or process by which the cooperative group of human beings allocates its task among its members, identifies leadership, and integrates its activities towards common objectives. When you say organization, it is nothing but like an organization structure where you will see the group of human beings. So organization structure organization structure an idea on that? What is mean by organization structure? So basically, organization structure and the structure of the company. So when talk about structure of the company, who will have at the topmost, you will have company owner. We also called as chairman. Then you will have board of directors. Okay, BODs. Then you will have a number of plants. If you have 5, 6 plants, you will have the plant heads, or in between you will also have a CEO, okay, Chief Executive Officer. These plant heads are reporting to this CEO. Under the each plant head, you will have a different number of departmental heads, right? Under the again departmental heads, you will have departmental staff like assistant manager or engineer or etc. etc. So in the bottom, you will have the workmen. So this is the organization structure. This is how the information flows, or the decision, or how the communication happens. Okay. ఇది ఒక మనకి ఆర్గనైజేషన్ స్ట్రక్చర్ అంటాం. So when talk about organization, basically it is a structure and process. Structure అంటే మనం చూసుకున్నట్టుగా, and also it is a kind of a process where the decisions or information are passes through, by which a cooperative group of human beings allocates its task among its members. So as I mentioned, sorry, I lost my network in between. So when you talk about the integration, it basically what happens is how you are interlinking with, or how you are connecting the departments and creating the relationship between each department, like production quality, production maintenance, production instrumentation, production projects, and production safety, stores and production, stores and procurement, how it is happens. Okay. I'm stopping here. We have only 20 seconds. So after the break, we'll continue this topic. Okay.